So I'm chilling on a nice Sunday morning. I take the dogs out to bask in the amazing, beautiful Georgia sun. But then I get a text message from Xfinity, my internet service provider, saying, thanks for your payment of $135, but my internet doesn't cost $135. I opened the Xfinity app just to make sure that that's the right price and that they didn't overcharge me or something. And I see my previous bill for, okay, $85. That looks normal to me. $85, that looks right. And then it went up a whole $50 the next month to $135. Something's not right. I guess it must be the end of my promotional period once again. So that means it's time to contact Xfinity and figure out how to get a better price. I get on the internet because anytime prices increase with my insurance, I just switch insurance providers to save me a little bit of money. You know what they say, 15 minutes or more. What do they say? 15 minutes can save you 15% or more with Geico. So that's what I do. So let's get on the computer. I mean, how hard could it be to find another service provider in my area that offers 1 gig internet, or, even I'll take half a gig. I'll take 500 megs. I'll take 400. I'll take 200. I don't need a whole gig. I'll really take whatever. Huh. Okay. All right. Okay. So nothing. All right, so it's gonna be very hard, actually, damn near impossible to find another internet provider to switch to. So you're telling me only one service provider offers internet at my home? Heck, this whole area? That doesn't sound right. You know what that really sounds like to me? A monopoly. And I don't like monopolies. Even worse, it's almost like some kind of organized monopoly where all the service providers agree what area and territory they'll control as long as they stay out of each other's way. And when there's only one service provider, well, you can charge whatever you want to charge them. I mean, you could charge them $200 a month. What are they gonna do? Not have internet? You need internet. You wanna apply for jobs? You need internet. You wanna work from home? You need internet. So what are you gonna do? Not have internet? Yeah, right. Me personally, I love TikTok too much. And the new season of Love is Blind is apparently horrible, but I mean, I still want to see it. I still want the opportunity to see it. I mean, look at this.
I'm like 5'10".
This looks great.
You would think she's an Amazon
Kind of.
woman.
Anyway, this sent me down a rabbit hole, researching the topic to see if it really is true and how long this has been going on. And it turns out it isn't just my bad luck. It's actually how the system was built. Let's dive deeper into exactly how internet monopolies came to exist and why they're still thriving today. Going back decades, cable and internet providers in the US literally carved up the country into regions. Initially, the logic seemed solid. Build cable infrastructure was incredibly expensive at the time, and companies argued it made economic sense to avoid duplicated efforts. So local governments awarded exclusive franchises to cable providers, essentially guaranteeing the monopolies in exchange for the infrastructure investment. Local franchises meant that one cable provider could dominate a whole region without facing competition. Over time, companies expanded these territories either by directly lobbying municipalities or by acquiring smaller competitors. Throughout the 1980s, deregulation shaped the industry significantly. The Cable Communications Policy Act of 1984 deregulated cable rates, presuming market competition would naturally control the prices. Spoiler alert, it did not. Did it control the prices? All right. It did not. Cable providers were enjoying their monopolies, who would have thought, and began raising prices significantly above inflation rates. Sounds real familiar. Public outcry followed, prompting Congress to enact the Cable Television Consumer Protection and Competition Act of 1992. All these acts have really long names. They have really long names, which briefly introduced rate regulations again and banned exclusive local franchises to encourage competition. So this all sounds great. However, this had limited effect. Competition rarely materialized since building out duplicate networks was costly, and incumbents already had massive market advantages. So by the mid-1990s, most markets remained effectively monopolized. Fast forward to 2006, a clear example of anti-competitive behavior emerged. Comcast and Time Warner Cable jointly acquired the failing Adelphia Communications, is that how you say it? Instead of competing, they just strategically split up Adelphia's customers between themselves, even swapping subscribers between major cities. Comcast took over Philly, Time Warner took over LA, and effectively they eliminated any chance of head-to-head competition. And regulators allowed it. Then, in 2012, Verizon struck a controversial deal, with several cable companies. They agreed not to compete with each other's primary services, so Verizon would promote cable internet where it didn't offer its own Fios fiber service, and cable companies would market Verizon wireless service. Thankfully, the Department of Justice stepped in, recognizing this arrangement was explicitly designed to limit competition. I mean, they forced changes to the deal, but it highlighted just how comfortable these providers had been avoiding indirect competition. What's the impact of all this monopolistic behavior on consumers like you and me? Well, high prices, poor customer service, limited innovations. I mean, studies consistently show that Americans pay significantly more for internet access than consumers in other countries with robust competition. When companies don't have to fight for your business, service quality naturally takes a nosedive. It is not just about your bill, it affects broader internet accessibility and innovation. I mean, monopolies have little incentive to improve infrastructure or customer support, knowing that customers have nowhere else to go, being like my position that I'm currently in. So as a result, internet providers consistently rank among the lowest industries in customer satisfaction surveys. Yeah, it's that bad, and they're not gonna do anything about it unless... One promising solution has been municipal broadband. I mean, cities building their own internet infrastructure. Take Chattanooga. Their municipal network offers residents lightning-fast internet at fair prices. But when Chattanooga tried expanding, well, big providers like Comcast, AT&T fiercely opposed them, lobbying for state laws that would stop municipal broadband projects. I mean, they succeeded in many states, meaning communities are stuck with monopolies unless the laws change. Municipal broadband is a threat because it proves that, well, competition works. Wherever municipal broadband emerges, prices drop, speeds increase, and services improve, precisely because monopolistic providers finally face a real challenger who doesn't have to play by their rules and can actually compete. In addition, monopolies don't just raise prices. They shape who gets internet at all. Providers prioritize investments in wealthy or densely populated areas while rejecting the lower income or rural areas. This phenomenon, known as digital redlining, perpetuates inequality, leaving disadvantaged neighborhoods stuck with outdated infrastructure and slower speeds. In Cleveland, Ohio, for instance, an analyst showed AT&T deliberately withheld fiber broadband upgrades from lower income neighborhoods, while swiftly upgrading the wealthier ones, of course. Without competitive pressure, there's no incentive to treat all neighborhoods equally, which deepens the digital divide even more. So, is there hope on the horizon? I mean, possibly. New technologies like 5G wireless internet and satellite services, just like Starlink, anyway, could introduce a real competition. But incumbent providers aren't passive. They're actively lobbying to restrict access to the spectrum needed by these wireless competitors. I mean, they're trying to protect their monopolies. And yes, early signs are promising. In areas where 5G home internet is launched, I mean, incumbent providers have been forced to improve their services and prices to stay competitive. It's still early, but these technologies could represent the first real threat to entrench monopolies in decades. I mean, when I looked at my options for what I could do, it was either Xfinity or I could get T-Mobile 5G home internet or Verizon 5G home internet. The only problem is I already don't get decent signal on my phone and I have Verizon, so that probably wouldn't work too well with my home internet. And then the internet speeds just aren't guaranteed. I looked at the range, it said like between 90 and 300 megabits per second, and that's a huge range. Like, what am I really gonna get? I'm gonna stick with Xfinity for now. They gave me an offer of 2.1 gigabits per second. But yeah, I mean, what else can you really do? Realistically, change requires government action and policy reform. Increased competition, breaking down regulatory barriers, and supporting municipal broadband initiatives could transform the internet landscape. For now, though, I'm stuck paying $135 a bill. Well, I got it down to $120. You know what I'm saying? I negotiated. But unfortunately, many Americans aren't able to negotiate their bill, and many Americans are just stuck with whatever they have and what's available. Next time your bill suddenly increases, just remember it's not just your bad luck. It's how the entire system was intentionally designed. Thanks for watching. Now, while I go complain about my internet bill some more, why don't you enjoy this sponsor? I have no sponsor. I don't know why I said that. Bye.